included in our staff report. To qualify for funds through this program, the project should meet the Clean California goals, and I'll just go through them quickly. Reducing the amount of waste and debris within public rights of way, pathways, parks, transit centers, and other public spaces. The project should enhance, rehabilitate, restore, or install measures to beautify and improve public spaces. The project should enhance public health, cultural connection, and community placemaking by improving public spaces for walking and recreation. And lastly, the project should advance equity for underserved communities. Eligible projects can either be infrastructure or non-infrastructure or a combination of both that reduce litter, beautify public spaces, and improve public health and foster placemaking. An eligible project area may include local streets and roads, tribal lands, parks, pathways, and again, transit centers and other public spaces. All locations must meet the following conditions, and they have to meet all of these conditions or it's an ineligible project. The project is on public property. It is either under the applicant's jurisdiction to make improvements to, or the applicant has written permission from the property owner to make improvements to the property. Partially or fully located in an underserved community, and at least 75% of the population surrounding the project site must be underserved. So we've been looking at this underserved requirement because it was new to our group. We've heard disadvantaged community before, so we're still flushing that out a little bit. Preliminarily, we've determined the communities of San Andreas, West Point, and Murphy's would meet this requirement. It sounds strange, but according to all of the demographics, they seem to meet those qualifications. For cycle 2, projects will be selected based on community need, potential to enhance and beautify public space, potential for greening to provide shade and use of native drought-tolerant plants, potential to improve access to public space, public engagement in the project proposal that reflects the community's priorities, and then a benefit to underserved communities. Let's see, the project should contain features to achieve the grant's goals. And there's a whole list of types of projects in your packet there, but mostly they're looking at projects that will improve, shade tolerant, including, increasing shade to an area. They want to impact global warming in a way, permeable surfaces for pavement and things like that. And then, of course, beautification like architectural fencing, art installations, cultural elements, increasing walking and biking in communities, wayfinding signage. They'll even go so far as, new playgrounds and things like that. So it's pretty exciting. Based on our preliminary review of the grant application, we believe that we can do 2 to 3 applications using our in-house staff. It's gonna be challenging because we're currently getting ready to construct about 10 different projects. Plus we've got disaster recovery that we're working on, but we feel pretty confident that we can have, 2 or 3 really solid presentations for competition in this grant opportunity. So at this point, we're getting ready, we're getting geared up, and we would like to solicit your feedback on this opportunity. And hopefully I can take your feedback, bring it back to the team. We can work on those grant applications and then, submit something really great and bring a good project to the county. I'm hoping to get your feedback by next week, if possible, so that we have to get this pulled together for the 28th of this month. And my apologies for the delay of getting it to you folks, but we've been pretty busy. So if I can answer any questions, please shoot away.
Supervisor Stopper. I look at these proposed projects here. You got 4 bullet points, 2 in Murphy's. Overall, I 90% of the time when you bring these things forward, I don't see anything in District 5, a lot of stuff goes up the hill. And when you say underserved, District 5 is the epitome of it, especially when it comes to the work that's done by Public Works. So, to see 2 projects for Murphy's with it that already has a lighting district, kind of hits home to me.
Right.
I mean, maybe some thought process. We had a biking thing go through District 1 and District 5 this last weekend, and some signs on the side of Hogan. not necessarily just for the bicyclists, for both, because the bicyclists need to share the road with the vehicles at the same time. So maybe a project like that, putting some thought into something like that, and not heavy weighting places like Murphy's and thinking about the underserved districts like District 5.
I completely agree with you, Supervisor Stopper. And if I could change the parameters of the grant, I absolutely would make it so that we could include that district. Every report we run using there's a certain tool we have to use to figure out where the grants can be funded. And I know it blows my mind to imagine that Valley Springs does not have that population. We had several different people go through. There's 4 different metrics we have to use, and it blows my mind, to be honest. So we're going to try to find some other grants so that we can target, the Valley Springs and your community. I know it's.
Supervisor Hubbard, your lights on?
Yes, I'd like to, thank you, Kelly. I'd like to ask, actually, regarding Supervisor Stopper's comment, I've always thought that we need to do an art installation on the west side of the county. There's I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Sensorio. It was done by a guy named Bruce Monroe in Paso Robles, and I believe it was done in 2019. And ultimately, all this artist did was go and cover the hills with solar lights, solar colored lights. You can't buy tickets. The tickets now are $50 a piece, and you can't buy tickets fast enough because it sells out every year. And simply, it was installed by volunteers. And it's been a huge success every year. And I would love to see a project like that on the west side of our county that actually drives both locals and visitors. I don't know if you remember, in 1974, a guy in Texas buried Cadillacs. And since 1974, people have been driving to see those Cadillacs. We have enough character here in our county to create an art installation, I think, that would actually give back much more than pavement, sidewalks.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely. I will look into that. Supervisor Stopper, there was one other thing I didn't mention to you. As part of the non-infrastructure portion, which would be educating people about clean California, keeping our roads and things clean. I know it's not a sign or anything being built, but it potentially could impact the entire county by doing a non-infrastructure component to, even if we do a project in Murphy's, we can say, keep Calaveras clean and do a media campaign for that. So maybe that could help. I know it's not
the people driving from Murphy's down a Rock Creek, leaving all the trash on the side.
Exactly. Trying to find ways to prevent that in a non-infrastructure way. So we're trying to be creative.
Supervisor Fallendor.
I have 2 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
One, just curiosity, as you listed what you have with Murphy's. I know that they're going through their own lighting district project and we need to address that. But in terms of the multi-use path connections, why wasn't the bridge in Murphy's considered in this application, as that's been an issue for the last year?
Sure. So once this board packet went in, we did additional work. And as we were looking at those lists that I provided to you of projects that were eligible, actually, I was just speaking with Robert about this yesterday afternoon, like, why can't we do a bigger project in the park, which would include the bridge, which would include some art installations and really enhance that park? The piece of it for between the other park, the ballpark and the elementary school would just be another element of that project. So we're kind of trying to tie a few things in together. We weren't able to get enough funding to fully fund the Murphy's lighting project. And so by incorporating this, throwing the kitchen sink into a bigger project where we're doing the lighting, we're fixing the bridge, we're improving the whole quality of the park. I think it's a good opportunity. And that's kind of why we've keyed in a little bit more on Murphy's. San Andreas, we were talking about what can we do to improve the parks here in San Andreas. The connectivity of the library to the elementary school in San Andreas is really key for us because of the Pope Street project. So we're just trying to piggyback on other opportunities to bring together a full project. There's no doubt this grant cannot fix all of the ills of Calaveras counties.
Thank you for that explanation. The other question I had was, as you're doing these improvements, a lot of things that I've heard from parents across the county is more accessibility for the kids on these paths. Meaning, I mean, it's not just to accommodate maybe the strollers, but also those that maybe in wheelchairs or other accommodations. That they're not able to walk their children or use those opportunities because it's not catered to what their individual child needs. So are we considering some of that with these improvements?
Yes, so anything we build that's new is going to have those ADA requirements being met.
Thank you.
Of course.
Supervisor
thank you.
Stopper.
Maybe you or Ms. Goldorf can remind me, last year there was the safe bikes and pathways thing through Caltrans.
Safe route to school.
No, not safe route to schools, but the one that they were doing for expansion on like bike
Bike
lanes and everything. You know, when you brought your list of projects last year, there was a substantial amount of money we missed out on because there wasn't a ready project. And that is one that can definitely be used in my district. So maybe putting some effort towards something like that.
Okay.
You know,
Thank you. Yes.
when you say that the things don't come across, that's one that could have been used in that area.
I have one comment. When I heard you answer Ben's question about District 5, and you said Valley Springs doesn't fit. I think you're lumping Rancho and Valley Springs together, and with La Cantena and Rancho, yeah, it won't fit. But if you run your numbers on proper downtown Valley Springs, Old Town
Mhm.
Valley Springs, you're gonna find those numbers will fit. And there's a bus stop there on county property, because that road, Daphne Road, is part of county. Can we at least look at putting a charging station there? Because we now have an electrical bus, and we're going to start moving toward more electrical items. And it would be nice to at least be able to sit there and charge if we need it charged. And then going up the hill into Murphy's, looking at some of the areas there, the one park as you get into Murphy's on the right-hand side of the road, Feeney Park, thank you. Possibly a charging station there for that bus to be able to get up the hill or even back down the hill.
We can definitely take a look at it.
That's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments in the room? No public comments or suggestions in the room? How about online?
There are none online.
Okay, well, we'll bring it back. That was an informational item. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
I think all the board has made their comments, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 17. This is agreement from administrative office. This is authorize the board chair to execute an agreement with Lion Acus for their phase 1 program and feasibility study for the district attorney's building. I see Barbara's in the room. In an amount not to exceed $58,635 with a term ending July 31st, 2023, which is going to be here real quick. And 2, authorize the county executive officer to sign amendments to the agreement, if any, so long as it does not affect and does not exceed the amount. And our CEO or Jamie's going to do it.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Toffenelli. Jamie Andriola with my office will be handling this item.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. In December of 2022, the board authorized the purchasing agent to request qualifications for the architectural and engineering services for the Calaveras County District Attorney Building. In response to the county's request for qualifications, the county received 3 qualifications from 3 firms. The qualifications were reviewed by a committee of 7, and Lion Acus was deemed the most experienced and qualified by the committee. Lion Acus is proposing a 2-phased approach to the building. The contract for approval today is for phase 1. Phase 1 will consist of a program and budget feasibility study. This phase will help the county in defining the proposed project as well as creating a plan for future development as needed. Based on the program and budget feasibility study, Lion Acus will be able to provide a preliminary cost estimate. Phase 2 will include the basic architectural and engineering design services from schematic design through the construction administration. I'm here to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? No questions? Is there any questions from the public? No public questions on this item? Online?
None online.
All right, we'll bring it back to the board and I'm open for a motion.
I'll happily move this item, Mr. Toffenelli.
We have a motion by Supervisor Stopper,
Second.
second by Supervisor Fallendorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0 with the one absent. And I want to take just about a 3-minute break before we go on to the next item. All right, we're gonna move on to item number 18. This is agreement with the administrative office. Authorize the board chair to execute an agreement with the LDA partners for the phase 1 programming and conceptual design for the animal shelter in an amount not to exceed $247,500 with a term ending August 11th, 2023. And 2, authorize the county executive officer to sign amendments to the agreement, if any, so long as it does not affect the not to exceed amounts. And Jamie, you're taking this one on too?
I am.
Well, welcome, Jamie. Good to see you again.
Thank you. It's been a long time. I'm very honored to actually present this item to you guys today. In December 2022, the board authorized the purchasing agent to post a request for qualifications for the architectural and engineering services for the Calaveras County Animal Shelter. In response to the county's request for qualifications, the county received qualifications from 5 firms. Those qualifications were reviewed by a committee of 6, and LDA Partners was deemed the most experienced and qualified by the committee. LDA Partners is proposing a 2-phased approach to the building of the new animal shelter. The contract for approval today is for phase 1. Phase 1 will consist of programming and conceptual design, along with a geotechnical survey and report and a hazardous materials survey for the existing facility. Based on the programming site plan and conceptual plans, LDA will be able to provide a preliminary cost estimate that will include the cost of the building, site improvements, professional fees, and miscellaneous expenses. Phase 2 will consist of the design development, construction documents, and construction administration. I would like to note that there was a minor correction in the staff report referring to how the scope of work relates to the CEQA mitigation measures. The scope of work includes having the contractor review the mitigation measures that apply to the construction of the shelter and the resulting special reports so that the structure can be designed as feasible to minimize the potential impacts identified in the project MND, the mitigated negative declaration, not the EIR, the environmental impact review. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any board questions?
Yes, I had a question for you, Jamie. So in reading the scope of work, I saw it was pretty broad for the rest of the property design. Could you talk more on not just the physical building, but the scope of work that's going to be done for large animals outside on that same property?
So all of that will be talked about and designed in phase 1. So
Okay,
they
so that
got
is
the
included.
generic kind of scope that we worked with UC Davis to design for the shelter itself, but everything else will be worked out through phase 1.
Okay, I just wanted that clarity. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Supervisor Hubbard.
Yes, could I ask Jamie really quickly, the phase 2, how long is that phase?
We're hoping that construction, if everything stays on par, would actually be completed in 2025, summer of roughly.
Thank you.
Any other board comments or questions? If not, I'll open up to the public. Is there any public comments or questions with big smiles on their face? Finally, we're moving forward.
We'd like to really thank Marcos and Jamie. They've done a fabulous job. You guys should be very proud to have such fabulous employees. We just love them, and we hope we're working well with you guys. We'd like to thank all of you. You're the most progressive board that's ever been in Calaveras County, because you've approved all of our, we are going to approve this. So we'd like to thank you so very much and let you know that we're, once we get the design, you get the design phase done, we'll start fundraising to help you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional. I've been doing this for 20 years, so thanks.
Any other comments?
Oh, now the understanding of.
Oh.
Said it all.
I think it's more than 20 years, but well, I've been at it watching for 25 years or so, but I understand that it started many years before that. So that's why I mentioned 37 years. We've been talking about this, and I agree. This is the most progressive board that we've ever seen. We've had one or two here and there, but they're only 1 or 2 votes, so it makes a difference. So, and I wanted to say, as a member of the Red Cross, we are so honored and grateful to be able to work with the county and with Animal Services and with this group. Because during an emergency, like I said before, and I'm sorry, came to the wrong agenda item, but it bears being repeated that, I'm distracted by these adorable signs you have up here. Anyway, we're so grateful to be able to work with him because we could not serve the community and the people who are evacuated if we can't take care of their critters and their livestock at home. And so that's why it's incredible. It's essential that we have many partners. So we're honored to be one of many partners. And there was something I wanted to share with you, and the signs distracted me from that. But this is an historic day. So I'm looking for a 4-1-0 vote. So kudos to you. I'm sure I'll think the minute I sit down, I'll think about what I wanted to tell you, but it's because we're so excited, this is historic. So thank you so much.
Any other public comments? All right, we'll close. Is there any public comments online?
There are no online public comments.
We have no online public comments, so we'll bring it back to the board, and I am open for a motion.
Move.
You, in honor of Marita. I just wanted to just, first of all, if I could just say, you're angels. Debbie, Alex, thank you so much for all that you do, your passion, your energy. It's contagious. So I would like to make a motion, please.
Second.
A motion by Supervisor Hubbard, a second by Supervisor Fallendorf. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0 with 1 absent.
Be sure and tell Marita personally.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we'll stick around for the supervisor announcements. What? I also stick around for the supervisor.
The meeting next. I'm gonna show it at my Mother Lode Carol Catalyans. Gotta show the sign.
Sign.
Good sign. So.
It's like, which one was?
All right, we will move on to the last item on our agenda. This is supervisor's announcements in compliance with government code 53222.3D. Board members will provide brief reports on the meetings attended at the expense of the local agency and may make other announcements or report out. We'll start with Supervisor Hubbard.
Thank you, Chair. I attended the Area 12 Agency on Aging last Thursday, the 13th. It was a great meeting, and they actually were very helpful on a program that I'd like to get started here in the county regarding snow removal of burns for our seniors.
Thank you. Supervisor Fallendorf.
I have nothing to report out. I just thank you for those of you that have taken my place over the last week on alternate meetings. So thanks.
You're welcome. Supervisor Stopper.
I have generally nothing to report. Just was a little put out Wednesday, having to replace another supervisor's spot.
I see.
It was fine. It went well. I appreciate actually being in the know a little bit more with the COG and everything. And yeah, no, it's interesting.
It was great having you there.
All right.
And your comments were good. So I say that I went to the COG meeting last Wednesday, attended that meeting, and then I attended a Mountain County's EMS agency meeting yesterday. We resolved an issue in Mariposa County with ambulance service and came to agreement with Mercy there, at least for another 90 days until we get a contract in place with them. So those are my comments, and with that, we will adjourn the meeting for today. Thank you very much for attending. Wow.